I'm in beautiful Sedona training this week, and these are all the trails I ran. And if you want the routes to these gorgeous trails, check the links in the description box. All right, first run on this training trip to Sedona, and I'm at one of my favorite trails here, Hangover Trail. I'm getting in an easy run today, so let's hit the trails.
I used the Long Sky 2 Matrix for this run. These shoes have great grip and solid support for longer trail runs. Hangover Trail is one of my favorite trails in Sedona because it has a mix of everything. Steep climbs, gradual climbs, techie trails, smooth fire roads, and there are a few places where you're running on the ridgeline with incredible views all around. I rated this trail as difficult because there are a few really steep sections and some drop-offs, so if you're really scared of heights, this may not be the best trail, but if you're like me and you're only slightly scared of heights, you'll be okay. When you hit the fire road at about 5.4 miles, you'll have the option to take a left and run up the fire road to the merry-go-round, or take a right and head back to the trailhead. The merry-go-round is one of Sedona's famous rock features with magnificent panoramic views, so if you have the energy to tack on 2.5 more miles, it's definitely worth it. You can either head back down the fire road or take the single track option on Munn's Wagon Trail back to the trailhead. It rarely snows in Sedona, but I caught some flurries at the end of this run, so I warmed up with soup from Whole Foods after and grabbed these chips, which are a full 10 out of 10. Seriously, I finished the whole bag in less than a day.
I could not find matching socks today to save my life. The washing machine consumes at least one of my socks with every load. That's a fact. I don't know why it does it, because my socks are absolutely disgusting. But I really don't know why it wants to eat them. That's just my life, so, you know? Anyway, we're doing Hiline Trail in Sedona today. It's another one of my faves.
I'm using the Long Sky 2 Matrix again for this run. Hiline Trail is another renowned route in Sedona and includes majestic views of Bell Rock and Cathedral Rock. Parking is super limited, so I ended up parking farther away and running a few miles on Slim Shady Trail before turning onto Hiline. I rated this trail as moderate. There are a few drop-offs and techie spots, but it's not quite as wild as Hangover Trail. The first part of the trail is a gradual climb up to a breathtaking overlook. I grabbed a snack up there and enjoyed the views.
Summit snacks are the best.
And then it was time for my favorite part of the trail, featuring some miles on slick rock with views of Cathedral Rock and a pretty steep descent down to the river, which, if you're running this during the summer, is a great place to stop and cool off. You'll then ascend up to more slick rock, and you'll have the option to turn off to Cathedral Rock, which will only add on about half a mile, but it's also insanely crowded. So since there were 1,000 people there, I passed it up this time. Eventually, you'll take a right onto Slim Shady Trail and ride the rolling hills back to the start. If you're into mountain biking, this is also a great spot to get in a ride. I always see a lot of mountain bikers out here, so make sure you're paying attention. And remember, if you want routes to these trails, you can view them in the links in the description box.
We're gonna get in a double on the Soldiers Pass Trail, and I want a little bit more cushion in my shoes in this run since it's a double, so I'm going to be using the Antora 4. They're really great shoes for recovery days, and this trail is also not super techy, so they're also really good for non-techy trails. These are a great shoe for beginner trail runners who don't want to hop on the really techy stuff yet, but still want to get in the trails. So if you're a beginner on the trails, or you just want cushy shoes for recovery days, these shoes are for you. It's been pretty rainy out. It's actually kind of raining out right now. That's actually good for this trail because this trail takes us to the 7 sacred pools, and if it's really dry out, the pools don't exist. So a lot of the year, since this is the desert, the pools don't exist. So today might be a good day. We'll see if we can see some water.
Since I parked farther from the trailhead, I ran along Caruth Trail and through some neighborhoods to get to the trailhead. Once there, you're only about half a mile from the 7 sacred pools. The pools are naturally formed by seasonal streams carving into the sandstone, and we got lucky today because they were actually filled with water. It was cloudy out today, but they're especially exquisite on a sunny day because they reflect some of the geological features surrounding them. If you continue along Soldier Pass, you can take a turnoff 1.25 miles in to get to Soldier Pass Cave. This cave is one of the most spectacular places in Sedona, and what makes this place so stunning is the light filtering in through openings in the rock. This was the most gorgeous night for an adventure. The next morning, it was time for a workout. I decided to try out Maurten's Bicarb. This is a supplement used by endurance athletes to buffer lactic acid. In the past, athletes used to just chug down baking soda to get this effect, but thankfully we live in different times, and now Maurten's Bicarb system has made it a lot easier on the stomach to digest. I took this about 2 hours before the workout, so let's see if this stuff works.
I'm just doing a warm-up right now. I'm at Wilson Mountain. This is where I go to climb in the winters. and I'm gonna get in a hard effort up to there today. It's gonna be a good shot to the system.
I laced up my favorite shoes for fast days for this workout, the Skyfire 2 Matrix. I stalled at the trailhead, trying to postpone imminent pain for a couple minutes before I began my redlining adventure up the mountain. I pretty much instantly regret all my life choices every time I do a steep workout like this, but somehow I always convince myself that this is a lot of fun. I think all distance runners have this convoluted, warped mindset of what fun actually is, but yes, I actually do call this fun, and I really did enjoy this workout.
Ooh, that was hard. That was a good punchy climb just to get ready for the season.
I enjoyed the views for a little before heading back down to the trailhead, which features a pretty rocky and techy descent that I've wiped out on more times than I want to admit.
This is the part I always wipe out on. Not today. I wiped out here like 3 or 4 times. It's just so rocky. Okay, I'm happy with that. I was only 30 seconds off my PR, which is great for this point in the season and for the amount of mileage I've been doing the past couple weeks. So yeah, it was a really fun workout, really strong workout. I actually really liked the bicarb. I just felt like I was pushing really hard, but I didn't get that like tingly, lactic-y feeling that I normally get when I'm climbing really hard up at altitude. I like doing a workout like this kind of early on in the season before I start racing because it's kind of just a shock to the system, and I feel like the first one always feels really hard. I always regret doing this to myself, and I wonder why I got into trails in the first place. But then I remember that it's because I love pushing myself, I love being outside in nature, and I love doing hard things. Because I think if you don't do hard things in life, then you get complacent. And if you get complacent in life, then you get stagnant in life, and you're not moving anywhere. So I think pushing yourself and not settling for where you are now is very good, and it's so important to strive after being your best, whatever that means for you. So make a move, believe in yourself, and don't be complacent. You will never regret doing something you love and being the best that you can. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, comment what you want to see next, and subscribe for more running content and, of course, adventure in the trails.